back to Cooking with Gloria. Today I want to share with you a very delicious recipe. It's going to be chickpeas patties in guajillo sauce that I know you guys are going to love and enjoy. But first things first, my apron is on, my hands are clean, and I am ready to show you my ingredients. I am going to start with my chickpeas. I have them soaking all night, and this morning I am ready to rinse them out, get the water completely out, and rinse them with very clean water. We just want to make sure that they're nice and rinsed before we start cooking them. This is a very delicious patties that I know you guys are going to love. Here I have my pan. I'm adding my bay leaves, my salt, 1 garlic cloves, and hot water. The reason that I'm adding hot water is because the chickpeas take about 1 hour to 1 hour and a half to cook. They need to be nice and softened, and the skin have to be almost falling off of the chickpeas. So here I'm gonna cover them and let's take them to the stove. We're gonna start cooking them in medium low heat and just leave them in there. They're gonna start boiling just like that. Cover them and just come back and check them. After an hour and 20 minutes, look at this. The skin is already coming off of the chickpeas. That's a good sign telling us that the chickpeas are ready. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse them out. Just take all the water, excessive water out, and just let them sit until they're a little bit cooled down, just a little bit, before we start taking the skin off completely. This is the part that really takes a longer time because you want to make sure that you remove all the skin completely off, okay? One by one until you're completely done. And like I said, this is when it really takes a little longer to do. Look, all the skin that I took off from the chickpeas, the garlic, the bay leaves, and now I have them nice and cleaned. I'm gonna put them in my food processor and I'm gonna blend it away. You wanna make sure that they're nice and blended. Once they are completely blended, then I have my cacique cheese here. I'm gonna pull it apart and just have it ready. So when I add the chickpeas, I could incorporate completely the cheese with the chickpeas. And let me see. Let me add everything in here. Look at this. Let's incorporate everything. Once everything is nice and incorporated, then I'm going to start. I was almost forgetting my 3 eggs. I'm going to do one at a time just to make sure that the eggs come out good and there's no blood in the eggs. I'm going to add 2, and then I'm going to add my spices. Remember that all the ingredients are going to be in the description box. Once you mix everything and you incorporate it, if it's needed, add the 3rd one. In my case, I added the 3rd one because it was still too dry and I wasn't going to be able to make those patties. I have a plate here with some water and I'm going to moisten my palms so that I could start making these delicious patties. Look at this. If you don't add water to your palms, the mixture is going to be sticking to your hands, and that's exactly what you don't want. Look how beautiful they're already coming out. Look at this. Very easy to make. It's just time consuming, but at the end, you are going to love these delicious chickpeas patties. I really love them when you make them, they really come out with such a delicious flavor that you could add almost anything to these patties. Well, I'm going to continue making the rest of the patties And out of this mixture, I'm gonna get about 12. It all depends how big or how small you make them. Once they're completely done, I have vegetable oil nice and hot, and I'm gonna start adding my patties. It takes about a minute or a minute and a half in order for them to get nice and crispy from the outside. Look at this. This is exactly how you want them. You want to make sure that they're really crispy from the outside, and it takes really not that long, okay? Just be careful. You don't want to burn your patties. I have my guajillo chilies here, and I'm going to go ahead and take all the seeds off, every single one. You want to have them ready because you're going to toast them. You're going to put them in a hot skillet and start toasting them. Here, I'm going to add my I have a half of the onion, and I'm going to cut 1/4 because I'm going to use that for my mole. I have my chicken bouillon, my garlic cloves, and let's go ahead. I have here my chicken broth, and I'm adding it to my pan, and let's start cooking and start getting all nice and hot the chicken broth. And on this side, I have a pan where I'm going to start adding my chilies, my garlic, my onion. You want to be careful because the chilies really don't take too long to start getting and releasing the delicious flavor of the chili. When you start smelling the delicious flavor of the chili, well, then be careful because they could easily burn. Right now, they're already smelling. I'm going to start removing them from the pan one by one. Of course, taking my time and making sure that they're nice and toasted. The same with the garlic cloves and the onion. You want to wake up those delicious flavors. When you do it this way, the chili really, wakes up and gives you such a delicious mole. The same with the onion. You could even smell the onion and the garlic. The garlic needs to be nice and toasted. Just be careful because it could easily burn. Now I am ready to remove it, and let me show you so that you could see how the garlic is really toasted. My home smells delicious right now. Okay, the chicken broth is already boiling, and now I am ready to introduce the chilies. Everything that I toasted, I'm going to introduce it here to the chicken broth. Of course, if you don't have chicken broth, just use regular water and add your chicken bouillon. Right now, I'm going to add everything in here, and then to this, I am going to add my chicken bouillon. If you don't have chicken bouillon, of course, you could use salt. The salt you have at home. Well, here I'm going to turn off the stove, and I'm just going to let it sit just for a couple minutes. I have the 1/4 of the onion. I'm going to slice it and just have it ready. So when I'm ready to make this delicious mole. Okay, now I'm getting everything out and putting everything in the blender, even the chicken broth. And now let's blend away. Okay, now that it's everything nice and blended, I'm going to put it through a sifter, and I want to make sure that I get all the little pieces of the skin of the chili. It really takes time, but you know something? You don't want all the little pieces in there. You want to make sure that your mole is really smooth, really thick. Look at this. This is exactly what you don't want. Okay, my pan now is nice and hot, and I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and to this I'm going to add my onion. You know something? When you add the onion and you start smelling the onion, that's an indicator. When you start smelling the onion and the onion is getting nice and caramelized, then it's time to go ahead and add your mixture of the chilies. Let it boil slowly and medium-low heat, and you start noticing that it starts reducing a little bit and getting a little bit nice and thick. Make sure that you taste it to see if you need to add salt or chicken bouillon. To my tasting, this is great. It has reduced a little bit. It got a little thick. Look at this. You still see the little pieces of the onion. Well, that's exactly how you want it, okay? Now I am ready to add my patties, and I'm going to be very generous, and I'll add all these delicious patties in here. I am ready for the presentation and I'm ready for my plate. So I'll see you in a bit. Let's enjoy this delicious dish at home with our family. Remember, when you cook with love, everything comes out amazing. My mouth is already watering. I can't wait to taste it. See you in a bit. Completely done with this delicious chickpea patties. You know something? I added some tortillas, and this is the part I really love and enjoy tasting my recipes. Let's dip this tortilla into the delicious mole. The mole with the patties are just amazing. You need to give it a try. You need to make it at home and enjoy it. These chickpea patties came out amazing. If you liked and loved my recipe, I invite you to subscribe, leave me a thumbs up, share my video on social media with your friends, with your relatives, so Cooking with Gloria keeps growing. Don't forget to push that notification bell. And if you did, leave it activated so every time I make a delicious recipe, yes, you are going to be notified. Before I say I see you soon, I wish you nothing but the best. Peace and love. And of course, I will stay enjoying these delicious chickpea patties in this delicious guajillo mole. See you on my next delicious recipe. Like, subscribe, and share. See you on my next delicious recipe. Bye-bye.